This is Spencer Flake with
Cheyenne Wilson.
And we're here tonight to watch the girls basketball game at the Fairview Middle School against Cheatham County. With your camera people, Janet Castro and Haley Smith, with your executive producer, Bob King. So, how do you think the girls team looks this year for Fairview?
I haven't been to a game yet. This is my first game, but I'm excited to see how they do because I know a lot of these girls from going to school with them in the past, and I'm just excited to see the game. What about you?
Well, we obviously, as it already looks, we already have speed on them, but I don't know. This is also my first game, so it's pretty interesting.
One thing that I've noticed is that it seems like the height between the two teams is pretty even. So I don't think there's going to be any advantages with the size of the girls just based on the ones that are starting right now.
Yeah, that was very vital runaway. That was missed. So, have you seen our three-point game at all?
3-point game? What?
The three-point game is basically, as in just whenever you're shooting from the three-point line.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot different from middle school because, middle school, they obviously don't have that same upper body arm strength as
For a second, I thought that Cheatham was going to have a shot there. But she missed the layup.
Yeah.
We just started the game, and Cheatham has already scored on us.
Yeah, they should have about 3 shots in right now if they were to make all of them. So I think our defense is kind of lacking.
You're silly. I think that we'll be able to catch up.
Hopefully. Well, it depends because, if we're not going for any shots and they're going for all of them, they're bound to make some of them, and we're bound to make none of them.
What do you think their next move will be?
Their next move?
Yes.
It depends. It seems that they're going for more down low stuff than obviously towards the top of the court. Which really, if you have that advantage down low, then you will win every game.
Well, I guess we're going to test that theory tonight.
Alrighty. Let's see this.
Seems as if they're having some difficulty. Is this a foul or what's going on?
I think they're having a review over a play.
Or is it a timeout? Is that what's going on?
Yes. Well, I believe so that they're having a review over the play with the refs, and they're just going to be able to talk about what to do next and how to do it over on both ends. So, do you feel like this would be a close game?
I don't know how good these girls are on our side or Cheatham. I don't know how the Fairview girls are. I saw them play last year, but I don't know how they work as a team this year because the 8th graders did make a huge difference on the outcome of the game. And so this year, the 8th graders or the mentors are going to be probably what ties it all in, and we're just going to have to see how they work as a team. And I'm not very familiar with the Cheatham girls either.
Yeah, I think what would really help. Oh, he goes. But
well, number 14 has some good defense. She got there really fast.
Yeah, I feel like it would be better if we were
Johnson.
We're playing more of a zone, and they're playing man-to-man. And
she went for that 3. And number 23, Nayland, tries her best to get the ball.
Nayland, from what I've heard, is a pretty consistent player in terms of outside shots. which
Yeah, I actually saw her play last year, and she was very good. She got quite a bit of playing time as a 7th grader, even though there were quite a few 8th graders
oh wow,
on the team as well.
that's pretty good.
Man, these girls are really going at it. This might be a close game.
And that's always what people look for. I mean, whenever there's just a game where like someone's like 20, 30, 40 points ahead, everyone just kind of tunes it out.
So
But
it looks like number 10, Libby Thompson, is going to be throwing it in.
yeah,
And I'm wondering how she's going to approach this.
yeah.
Okay, successfully reaches number 12. Goes for a shot, misses.
Let's see our offense.
All right. Is this a free throw? What do you think they're going to do?
No.
Okay.
They haven't got the bonus yet, so.
Okay. What?
That's the Cheatham roster. Oh, Nathan going. You know, it's really hard sometimes to get out of those 2-man whenever people kind of have you cornered like that. Man, if Cheatham just starts getting down court, they will be able to win this game easy. Here goes another one. I think that's the 5th one.
Excuse me, I was reading off of the Cheatham roster when I was naming those girls earlier.
That's all right. I don't know the name still anyway with the Fairview roster, so. But.
So number 14 has missed her free throw.
Again, if Cheatham just starts being able to be consistent with their shots, and they will win this game. But then again, Fairview's defense seems to be holding up, though.
Seems like this girl has good form, and that was a beautiful shot.
That's very true. That's what I love is that, I mean, in the NBA.
So number 14 is actually Casey Mullins, and she's dribbling it down. Oh, just lost it barely, but she was really going for it.
Let's see if they can try and get a turnover right here. Able to make it out.
So it seems pretty consistent that number 14 on both teams actually gets the ball quite a bit.
Yeah. I also feel like the refs are a little bit more laid back this game because there's a couple fouls down low that they just don't
Haven't
call.
noticed.
Yeah. That they just decide not to call. Not that they're not being blind, they're just, you know.
Well, they called that.
It's a very good point.
Number 14 has the ball again. Oh, timeout.
No. It's all right. You know, I hope if our offense gets better, then we will definitely win this game. Mr. King. Mr. King.
That's fine.
Do we go on timeout? Do we go on timeout? Yes. All right. All right. Well, to start lining up, you can already see how they are getting man-to-man, which can give a
All right, number
big
12
difference.
this time is switching it up on number 3, Kayla Hackett. Now number 24 is taking it down.
Oh, with another layup. Oh. Again, Cheatham's downfield game is really taking a hit on the Fairview Falcons. Their number...
that was a good shot by number 14.
Cheatham's number 24 seems to really be taking a toll on on the Falcons. So how do you think the outcome will come if it keeps on going like this?
Well, if it keeps on going like this, Cheatham's going to have beat us by more than twice, more than 2 of our points. They have 3 times more points than we do at this point, but it's still early in the game, and I think that the Fairview girls could catch up if they stepped it up just a little bit.
So what do you think the reason would be that they're not have stepped it up yet?
I'm not quite sure, but I think that they just need to have more defense, more focus down there, because it seems like their offense is pretty strong, but Cheatham's defense is what's keeping them from having the opportunity to shoot in the first place. So they just need to focus on defense, because the Cheatham's defense might be the crutch, the obstacle that keeps them from winning tonight.
Yeah, what my dad's always said is that defense wins championships, which he still holds by to this day.
Former coaches of mine say defense wins games, so that we'll just see how this goes.
Yeah, because if the other team is not able to score,
How
then...
much do you want to bet this girl makes a shot? Perfect. Number 32 makes a shot.
You know, I think the reason
Carly Hogan.
I think the reason our defense isn't doing too well is because
at this point, Cheatham has 5 times more points than we do. And more than 5 times. But it's okay, because technically, we could still catch up.
That's very true. Again, is that if we were to be able to do exactly what 14 just did and be able to keep up with their players, then we will win this game, because that's the best defense you can keep, is if you stay with their players, especially in middle school basketball, then you will be able to win, because of the fact that, well, no one wants to pass to a guarded person.
Unfortunate miss on that shot.
Yeah. They seem to be getting more and more consistent with their shots. Cheatham is.
Number 42 is really good with those rebounds, and you know, if she's by the goal, she's probably going to be the one who gets it. She seems pretty reliable.
I feel like number 14 is a very good person to pass to in terms of she seems to not be going up for the shots. Number 14 for the Fairview Middle School, which is Casey Mullins, who seems to just be, she has a couple of wide open shots, but she seems not to be taking it for unknown reasons. Why would you think that Casey isn't taking any shots?
Casey might be not taking the shots because she prefers to set them up, bring them down the field, make a pass to someone who's open so that they can make the shot. Because a lot of the time she's dribbling it down the field and they see it coming. So if she were to try and shoot, there are lots of people who could block her shot, and there are also other girls on the team who are taller that she could pass it to that could try and make that shot.
Do you think it would work if she just started doing better fadeaways maybe?
What's a fadeaway?
In terms of it's actually a really good fake move, is maybe you're going towards the basket and then randomly start going backwards and shoot. Or maybe even just stop and shoot, which...
Well, that could work if she has good aim and has the ability to shoot from a longer distance.
That's true.
But that can be very risky because it seems as if whenever they shoot farther back, the rebound is a little harder to guess where it's going to go.
Do you think that we should just start, honestly, in my opinion, actually, I think we should just start working the ball up top, because our down low game against the Cheatham Bearcats is honestly a little spotty because they seem to be more physical down low than us. Let's see, right there.
Number 14 did try to take a shot, and it does look like she does have that skill. It didn't miss by much.
Yeah, exactly. It seems as if the Falcons are starting to be rejuvenated and starting to get back in the game.
They haven't shown it on the scoreboard yet, but they seem more determined, and maybe they'll catch up.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be able to catch a shirt down there. That would be pretty nice. I wish that up at the high school we were able to, they would throw that many shirts.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if the high school could have a shirt for every cheerleader. I would have so many t-shirts. I have connections with the cheer squad.
That's very true. How is that going, by the way? Because I heard that the dance squad, the cheerleading, and the band are all doing something together. How is that going?
It's going good.
Would you be able to give us some? We're good? All right, sweet. We're good for right now.
We are? He was giving you a compliment.
But, so what would it... It seems as they start to get back on the floor. It seems that the Falcons look a little angry, honestly, if you look in their eyes.
We have a new player on the field. Number 5, McKenna Spicer, is now in. And so this might have a difference on the outcome of the game.
You know, what I've noticed with girls basketball,
Girls can get tired easily. And I'm not just saying girls. Basketball players can get tired easily because
yes,
it really is a running, super active sport. Your mind is racing the whole time because there's people coming from different directions, and you're really working everything.
yeah, I mean, in terms of just running, I mean, just within a couple minutes, you run back and forth about 7 or 8 times. And so we have to be careful about stretching before, be able to drink lots of water is usually, in my opinion, the best way. All with a quick interception down low. Again, the Falcons need to be able to start shooting more up top and being more patient with the ball. Would really help.
What do you think Cheatham could work on?
What Cheatham could work on is...
Maybe they need to back off so that the Fairview girls can catch up.
That might help. But Cheatham...
No, it seems like they're doing a really good job tonight. They're on their A game, and they know what they're doing. And I guess this game means a lot to them because they're putting their heart and soul just in this second period, and they are already quite a bit ahead of us.
Yeah, another reason for that is, again, our defense. As you can see, their number 14 was open completely, could have had that wide open shot on the wing, which, again, would have really helped. But as Fairview goes down court, again with the patience,
I had a feeling that pass wasn't going to quite make it there because that defensive girl was on the inside.
I feel like we should...
all right.
Oh, it's a good thing she's all
23
right.
went down, but she got right back up. She's a tough girl. She's ready to do this. I mean...
I wonder if they're going to give her any foul shots.
She's not looking to get put out. She's looking to stay in. But unfortunately, she's going to have to sit out for a little bit. Number 11, Kelsey Gossage, is going to be playing in Nayland's place until she can return to the game.
It's going to be very interesting. I've never seen her shoot before, so. Oh, it seems that there's a mistake. or a discrepancy with the refs. It seems that
already it seems like this girl, she has good form, she's focused, and it would have made it if it was just a little bit lighter, but she made a good effort.
I feel like while they're playing that they need to
number 14, she really is a perseverer.
The fact that
she gets knocked down and gets right back up. She was dribbling and still got herself up. Now that takes some skill and determination, not to just give up at that point.
It honestly is actually a very good sign because when you're down by this much, and if you don't get back up, then that means you're giving up. So it's a very good sign because that means that they're still in it to win it.
So it seems like the Cheatham girls this year are going to be hard to beat.
Especially whenever it comes to the playoffs, or the tournament, sorry, for basketball.
Mixing those football terms in there.
Yeah. I know that Cheatham's football team this year is looking pretty good.
Well, maybe their overall sports is good. I mean, I do know that their soccer girls have improved, and I think I recognize some of those soccer girls on the team tonight that play basketball as well. Some very athletic girls.
Yeah, it seems that they're starting to get a better rep, and I've heard a lot that they're starting to, in all of their sports.
It seems like these girls on the Cheatham squad aren't getting tired, and it's probably because they just got out of a soccer season, and they've been practicing, and they've been going nonstop, so they haven't really had the chance to get out of running shape.
That's true.
Now we could have a few girls like that tonight. I know that Addison Lewis, number 2, actually is a soccer player as well, so she has good stamina. And if these girls are getting tired, I know that she is one that you could put in their place for sure.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is that I feel like even though Cheatham misses most of their shots, the reason that they're winning by so much is because, again, they're down low game on defense as well, which is that they are able to get the rebounds, and so making it so that on rebounds on defense and offense, making it so that when we don't get our rebounds, we obviously don't get the point.
That was a really great effort.
That would be a prime example right there, is that if the Falcons were able to start boxing out, then again we'd start having better down low game. Oh, with the foul. You know, what I've noticed with girls basketball is that they actually are ironically more physical than the guys basketball by a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that the boys basketball would be a little bit more aggressive, but to be honest, girls are mean, and a lot of the time when girls set their mind to something, they are going for it, and they're going for it full force. So girls can be scary. They're underestimated, that's for sure.
That's very true. I've also noticed that with girls as well, their fouls are actually more open than guys is. As in when they foul, they try and either they flop, obviously, if they're fouled, but if they're fouling, then they try and keep it away from the ref. But for a girl, if a ref sees, then well, or if they're near a ref, they don't kind of try and keep it secret at all. But as long as we start being able to Oh, see, that was a very key rebound
All
right
right,
there.
nice effort. I think she could make this if she takes her time with her layup, and she misses by just a hair. It looks like the girls aren't having too much luck tonight.
I agree. You know, I think what's the cause is that the jacket, obviously the Falcons, or everyone here, obviously has a couple tall people. As in, for the Falcons, it's 11 and 42, and for the Cheatham Bearcats, it's 14 and 24. But the thing is, though, is that their overall height is still better than theirs.
Yeah, the Cheatham girls definitely have height over the Fairview girls that are in at this moment. But we do have some taller girls that are sitting the bench right now. So if height seems to be a problem, we do have substitutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I feel like we should be able to, again with what's going on, is that the Falcons, they don't have a good post player, and that's exactly what we need right there. And so, if we don't have a good post player, and that post player, what makes a good post player in the first place is that they're physical and they're not afraid to score. And if a post player does not do that, then it's not that good. But I feel like we could also be more physical down low. As in terms of just boxing them out and then keep on going.
She's really taking her time with that. Oh, and the ball goes rolling across the floor. I think an issue that has to do with that is focus. Like, it's really important to know where the ball is going.
In terms of what that is obviously it's just like a High School Musical, just getting your head in the game. But also is, for example, in football, what you do before the game kind of shows.
The Cheatham girls, their defense is so good. They know exactly where to be and win every time someone brings the ball down the field.
That's usually the the more that people goof off and practice, the more that they, don't pay attention to their coaches, is the more that they're not going to pay attention in the game and focus in the game. So that could possibly be the reason that the Falcons are losing by such a huge deficit.
But we don't know how they practice or how often they practice. All we know is that the girls aren't having the best luck tonight, and they're not on their A game, but Cheatham, they are.
That's very true.
Now, there are some certain individual players that are just doing phenomenal tonight. Like number 14 is really shining and just made that three. Totally, I mean, she is great. And she might not have height, but she can get that little body to move.
Yes.
Man, this has been a really exciting game.
Yes.
But we will be back with you for the second half. So we are back with the Fairview Middle School girls versus the Cheatham Middle School girls. The score is 8-24, and the Cheatham girls are beating the Fairview girls pretty bad, but we just made a shot, so maybe we are in our game tonight, but it's too early in the half to tell.
That's very true. I also noticed that one thing that they were practicing, the Cheatham girls were at least, was power dribbling, which again is a very key thing whenever you're going down low. And so now that they're actually starting to practice that, now that I was able to see that, I feel like that's what the coaches are telling them to do, is practice more down low, which is a very intelligent move in my opinion.
It looks like we have the same girls that we started with in the first half, starting this half as well.
That's very true. You know, in my opinion, I think that if they're going to sub people in, that they should keep a smooth rotation going, because if it's not, then obviously just a lot of people are going to get tired, and then by the end of the game, that's will kind of make us lose.
Well, it seemed as if number 14 on our team, Casey Mullins, was in the whole last half, so she might be pretty tired for this half.
Yeah, we might lose some key shooters tonight. But in the end, and honestly, I call it a good game if there's more of like a standoff. Let's say if it's a close game and no one is majorly hurt.
Well, so far, it looks like Cheatham is going to win. But it would be cool to see if Fairview have a really nice comeback.
That is very true.
Now that would make it a good game.
I feel like, again, if Fairview just got more physical, because that is honestly one of the most key things. I'm not talking about fouling them or shoving them or punching them in general. I'm just talking about whenever they're
just playing a little bit more aggressively,
yes,
right?
Basically.
Yeah, because these Cheatham girls aren't afraid to get in your face and not let you see anything else. Their defense is really tight in, and they stop everything that they can.
I feel like, again, that was something that I feel like they're starting to wake up the second half, because of the fact that they're doing stuff that they did not do last half. Like back there, when they were running down the court and they set a post move for the other player. Something like that they weren't doing last class.
Oh, wow, okay, number 14's taking it up. And, just barely missed that layup. That would have been a really nice play, but it was a really great effort, considering the fact that she had two defensive players on her the whole time she was dribbling.
Yeah, it seems that number 14, Kayla Johnson, is going to have a foul shot.
Casey Mullins is actually the girl that's taking the shot.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the Chim's roster. This is a deja vu from earlier. It seems that the deficit that was from the second half is actually starting to close a little bit, which is, honestly, it's a sign that there might be a comeback. I've always noticed that if there's going to be a comeback, it's usually at the very beginning of the second quarter. Which I've also noticed that some of the players are starting to get more energetic as the game goes on, and their players are starting to get more tired. So they actually might have a comeback.
See, we have supportive teammates on the other side shaking little pom-poms, building up their team. And I think that's really important for a team to have other players that feel like a family. That's a really important aspect to have. The chemistry of the team really does affect the outcomes of the game.
That's very true. There's many times through, honestly, a lot of teams that the reason they'll have a bad season is because maybe they don't like their team members, and so they won't want to build them up. And so it'll make it...
That's true, because I know it is hard to not get mad at your friend for taking your starting position on varsity. Or get a little frustrated that you were taken out of the game so that someone else could get put in your place. And I know what that's like. I'm a former athlete, and it's not the best feeling in the world, but that's really something that you just have to recognize that that's going to happen. And you have to think about it that you're working as a team. And you have to trust your coach and trust that he's making the right decisions with the girls that he puts in. Because it might not be your fault. It could just be the girls on the field. There might be 2 or 3 of them that work really well together, but they don't work well with the other people.
That's very true. You could be the best player in the world, but if you don't work well on the team, or you can be the best 5 players in the world, actually, but if you don't work well together, then you are not going to win. Which, as again, something else that the Falcons did not do was have their cheerleaders scream at them while they scream at the Cheatham as they were shooting. Which is another sign that they're starting to get more energetic.
It even seems like the cheerleaders are trying to be more supportive of their Fairview Falcons tonight.
Again, the more support, then the more likely that you are to have the confidence actually to score. Because basketball is 90% mentality and 10% physical.
You think so? Because I think it's a pretty physical sport.
The thing is, though, is that as in terms of, yes, like stuff on defense, like little factions of the game such as that, you have to be very physical. But the thing is, though,
I would say it's a little bit more than 10%, but I do see your point. It is very important to have the mentality to have the right performance when it comes to the physical attribute of it. If your head's not in the game, you're not going to play to the best of your ability, and that's just a fact.
That is very true. And the reason why the mentality is so important is because it affects everything in terms of it affects, your shooting and also your physicality, or as in how aggressive you play, how you box out. If you're just all these different things in terms of even how you work the ball down there, which, in my opinion, we also have to look more for the open person, such as whenever number 10 was going for the shot and did not see number 12 open, but number 10, even though that she didn't have an open shot, still took it.
See, it seems as if the girls on the Cheatham team have more speed and whenever they're taking it down, our defensive players aren't getting there fast enough to stop the drive.
That's very true. I honestly don't think it's more of that they have more speed. I think it's more they have more stamina. As in, whenever the going gets tough, they don't get going. And so, if they don't hang their heads after they miss a shot, and they keep on running, keep on going, then that really is going to help the benefits of winning this game. Oh, with the runaway.
See, even though there wasn't any other players except for number 53 on the Cheatham team, she was still able to stop that drive because she had the speed and the stamina to get there before that girl could have the opportunity to take a clear shot.
That is very true. I feel like if, usually the cure for this is that if they have more stamina or more speed, then you have to keep on switching in between players. You have to keep on.
Wow, that was a really close shot. Did you see that? That was so close. It rolled around the rim 360 degrees and didn't go in. We really aren't having the best luck tonight.
That is very true. We're starting to get a little better with keeping up with them, though, on defense.
It seems so, but...
As in their pass, it's either that or their passes are starting to get more blatant.
We also have different girls in right now that are a little bit more refreshed because they didn't get to play the first half, or they didn't get to play as much the first half. is some of the other girls.
What's true is that since we're not really subbing people in, then it makes it a lot difficult to. That was actually a really smart foul by Cheatham, because she definitely had that.
But like I said toward the beginning, the prediction that Cheatham would have twice as many points as we do, that statement is almost true. If Cheatham gets one more point, they will be ahead by twice as much. Now, if we make this shot, that'll... Oh, okay. I was about to say that'll change. But here we are in the third quarter with 1 minute and 9 seconds to go, and it's not looking very good.
That's very true. I feel like if we start subbing in people too, even though we're down, because it's not just about the top 5 players on the basketball team, you also have to have good subs behind them. If you do not have that, then it is very difficult to play a good basketball game.
But have you noticed that the girls on the Cheatham squad have numbers? Look at our team versus the Cheatham team. They have twice as many people sitting on the bench.
That may be because they're a bigger school, or maybe just they had more open spots. But
they do have an advantage because they do have more players that can play.
That is very true.
And I'm seeing new faces and new numbers pop up throughout the game, and we don't have that advantage. We only have so many girls.
That's very true. Just looking at the roster for the Falcons and for the Cheatham, they have twice as many girls almost. It's honestly what it looks like.
Actually, they have more than twice as many girls.
Yeah. Oh, with the runaway. You know, honestly, see, what number 44 did wrong is that she took that way, way too late. And it made it very, very difficult.
Cheatham is still up by twice as much.
Again, if your player is getting caught and she's getting double teamed like that, then someone else that's open has to come down to where she can pass it, or else.
It is hard to pay attention to all of that stuff whenever you're trying to pay attention to where you are on the field. There's a lot to it. It is difficult.
That's very true.
All right, and that's the end of the third quarter.
Hopefully,
really all depends on this quarter, but it's not looking good for the Fairview Falcons tonight because Cheatham is up by twice as much, and I don't know if it's even possible to gain as many points as we need to gain just to be tied. And this little of time, we have 6 minutes left in the game, and hopefully we won't be losing by this much at the end of the night, but it's not looking good for the Fairview Falcons.
That's very true. I wonder what their coaches are saying to the Fairview Falcons right now.
What kind of strategies do you think he would be coming up with right now?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
What strategies?
Do you think it would help with getting Fairview back in the game?
Yes.
I think the best one right now is if they switch man-to-man, as in we put our best players against their best players. As in whatever.
Well, I think at this point in the game, they're not going to put in their best players on the other team. They're going to put in those girls that didn't get to play in the first few quarters. Because they are so far ahead that they don't need to worry about it.
That's very true. Or maybe even if the Falcons start playing.
But that could work to their disadvantage if they're not being safe about the girls that they put in. But
that's true. I feel like Fairview also, if we played a better zone, as in we're obviously scoring more down low, so instead of playing a 2-1-2, we play a 2-3. which because they're not scoring ever in front of the basket, which is where we're hoping actually that they would try and go for, because of the fact that our defense seems to be very strong right there in the middle of the key, but outside on the corner shot, just right below the basket still, or I'm sorry, to the side of the basket, still we are not being able to get that because we're not boxing out. So we need to start playing at 2-3. That was a very good shot by Cheatham.
They are on fire tonight.
It's very true. I just don't think, because I know that the Falcons are able to put up a very, very good game against many good teams.
I'm starting to think that maybe the majority of the Falcons are starting to give up because their teammates and their cheerleaders aren't really being as supportive and not trying their best to lift their spirits. And that's really going to have an effect on how they feel emotionally about the game.
Exactly.
And mentality, like you said, is a big part of playing the game and doing a good job.
That's very true. I've also noticed that they actually, they put in a couple players. I think one of them is they put in number 10 for the Falcons, which is Chloe Lee, who seems to be coming out all right, who's starting to, hopefully, she will be one of the players that maybe helps rejuvenate the team. See, our down low game is very, very off tonight.
So it looks like the Cheatham girls are getting a little too comfortable, a little too handsy with their defense. They need to back off just a little bit because they are getting fouls called on them.
That's true. They need to be careful about how, because you see the thing is though, is that whenever people foul, if they do it very blatantly, that's whenever the ref starts to know. So if they're going to maybe mess up, then they have to try their best not to do it so blatantly. So it'd be better if, because I've seen many teams come back because of the fact that the other team gives them a innumerable amount of foul shots.
And I don't know if you believe in luck, but I really do think that we're just not having the best luck tonight, because I know these girls are talented. They just don't really have their head in the game. They might have had an off day or maybe just an off night, but the Fairview girls are good. They're just not at their best tonight.
That's true. I believe that basketball is actually more confidence than luck. As in, if you're not confident in the shot that you're taking, there's a very good chance that you won't make it, in terms of even if it's just a simple corner shot. Just stuff like that. And as
the girls
they seem to be
very
taking,
disappointed.
I'm sorry, what was he said?
The girls on the Fairview side seem very disappointed.
Exactly. If you're not confident that you can't come back, then you won't come back. But if
I wouldn't be very confident either. I can totally understand why their spirits are going down, because how are they supposed to gain 20 points in less than 5 minutes?
The thing is, though, is that I've seen that's actually how it works. Is that, for example, if you have a good, I should say, better morale, in terms of you, I guess, honestly, hope. As in, you still want to win. You still have the yearning to win. And so whenever you do that, it keeps you in the game. And if they had that more early on, I don't think the score would have been so different as it is right now. As they bring it down, see right there,
It seems as if
11
these girls can't miss a shot.
Yeah. See right there, 11 for the Falcons as I forget what number it was dribbling down the court. And she had stepped in front of her, and also a move that I would sometimes do.
Are you talking about Kelsey Gossage?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should say number 11 for the girls. Wait, yeah, number 11 for the Falcons, but I forgot who's the Bearcat that took that layup. But if she were to stay in front of her and keep her feet planted, then she'd either A, have a foul for the Falcons, or B, stop the layup. So if we're more physical about it, if we're just keeping our game and be able to stand up to the Bearcats, then we're going to win this. Let's hope that number 10 for the Fairview Falcons, Chloe Lee again, will be able to.
I appreciate your high hopes, Spencer, but we have to think about the circumstances. It's going to be really hard for the girls to come back, and it's just too much stress on them. They're going to start to give up because I know how athletes think, unfortunately.
That's very true. As this game starts to draw to an end, they would actually have to make about 7 points per minute. And so that would be very difficult because obviously, as you know, that's about 3 or 4 buckets per minute, which is almost impossible now, as I would have to admit. But I have actually seen it done before in a couple of games throughout just watching basketball. You see number 11, after she got that ball, should have just held it. Because we almost had a turnover, and it could have been their point.
Less than 4 minutes in the game, it's not even going to be a close game. It's just going to be not a very good experience for the Falcons.
That's very true.
Cheatham is absolutely on fire tonight, and nothing's going to stop them from taking this win.
That's very true. As this game draws to a close, I think that we can safely say that the Cheatham's going to win. Because we're our scoring game. Honestly, I think
number 2, Addie, the soccer player. Finally, the girl with stamina that we know is guaranteed is put in the game. And I don't know if she is left with enough time to make a difference in the score.
So what do you think the reason is that the Falcons are so far behind right now in this quarter? So what do you think the main reason is, for why the Falcons are so behind in this quarter?
Well, we've been discussing it the whole time about how the girls they don't really have their head in the game. And I really think that's what it is. They might have came into the game too cocky, thinking, oh, we got this, and they didn't want to try. Or they could have came to the game saying, nope, there's no way we're going to win. There's no point in trying in the first place.
You know, honestly, in this case, I just think they were outmatched. And that's just because Cheatham has a lot more players, and they also seem to be able to be more consistent with the ball, which in my opinion is really like the best way to win. I'm not entirely sure why they haven't put number 30 in this game. She seems to already have scored a bucket because of the fact that she's a lot taller than them. We started to play a lot more rough defense. Number 34 for the Cheatham Bearcats, Emma Woodle, seems to be the one shooting right now. She has 2 foul shots, which probably means that the refs obviously gave him a double bonus. But Honestly, at this point,
With a little bit over 2 minutes in the game, it doesn't look like the score is going to change very much.
That is very true. She doesn't really have to worry about making her foul shots or not.
Oh, number 2, Addison.
That was a very hard
Lewis
sought-after
has
ball.
the ball, drives it down, and look, they just made another shot. See, they needed to put the girls in that had their head in the game and that had the stamina to back it up.
I agree. They should have put them in a while ago because this is exactly what they needed.
These younger girls, these aren't 8th grade girls. These are the ones that seem to be fresh on their mind, and they are really trying to redeem themselves.
That's very true. I'm pretty sure these are actually the JV girls, which is kind of ironic because they're able to score more points than the high school, varsity girls are. Which, that's a very rough foul. Again, if she were just able, because she had such a good height advantage, if she just stood in front of her, then she could have easily just blocked that instead of fouling her.
So at this point, Cheatham isn't twice as many points as we have. But that could go away with this next shot. If this girl makes it, they will be exactly.
That's very true. Is this number
22 points more than us.
That was Emma Woodall again with the 2 points this time, but so
And
now she's 2 for 4.
The consistency of the players. The players on the Cheatham team are very consistent with the things that they do. And their effort is just on 10 the whole time.
That's very true. I'm not so sure why the coach actually wasn't putting number 30 in, or as he's starting to her now actually. Number 30 for...
I actually believe number 30, Anastasia Byerly, is a 6th grader. She is a huge 6th grader. She's super, super tall. Great basketball player.
That's very true. That is honestly one of the best things about basketball. If you have a good height advantage, then that helps so much. You never really hear about shorter basketball players. Actually, basketball players that are below 6 foot are very rare to come by. In a lot of cases, as this Fairview Falcons game is starting to draw to a close with less than a minute on the clock. We start to see a change, as in it seems as if Fairview knows they're not going to come back, so they're just slowed down.
Now they're just going to play a little game of let's toss the ball, but now Addie's taking it down the field.
See again with their number with Fairview's.
And she has an opportunity to take some shots.
That's very true with Anastasia's Byerly. She seems to be doing very well for the fact that she's a 6th grader in a varsity middle school game. With what I think we really would have hoped with Addison Lewis's shot is if she were able to keep a good form, as in where she's aiming.
She's playing very aggressive. She's doing a pretty good job. Even though she missed those shots, it wouldn't have made much of a difference anyways.
That's very
because
true.
It's not a close game.
They're also starting to go a lot slower down the court, the Falcons are. Oh,
Have you noticed number 23, Naylin Yeager, back in the game at all since she came out?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Have you noticed number 23, Naylin Yeager, back in the game at all since she went out?
That is very true.
What's true? It's a question.
No, I thought you said that she hasn't come back in. No, I have not.
Oh my gosh, she almost made that 3. Well, it was a great game for the Cheatham Bearcats tonight.
That's very true. With our crew, the cameramen, Janet Castro and Haley Smith, with the executive producer, Bob King, and this is Spencer Flake.
And Cheyenne Wilson.
And this was a very good game.